Hey guys, it's Gamer Cow. Welcome back to Touhou, the Genius of Sephiroth. Last time we basically left off on a Satori learning mission, and we did a lot of cool stuff with that. As you'll have seen in the intro to this, upon gaining certain skills or trying to get certain skills, I did get a couple of level ups, and I was essentially getting a couple extra skills. So we have a bit of housekeeping to do first. Just showing off the new stuff, and once we are done with that, we shall proceed for the first attempt at stage 20. I am not entirely convinced this is going to go well, but whatever, that is what we have to try and deal with. So, the first new skill we got was with Wherein, and it is her super duplex barrier. And I kind of mentioned this one before, but essentially Super Duplex is a multi-target version of the regular duplex, and this is one of the best defensive skills that you will have in a very, very long time. This might actually be one of the best defensive skills you'll have, period, because it does get an upgrade at level 90, and that will block both magic and physical at the same time, but the cooldown is a lot higher and the MP cost is about 3 times as high. So judge for yourself whether you think it's better or not that way. But this basically being able to block all of one style of attack for a turn, meaning if you really want to play ultra safe for a turn, you can cast this and Reflect Wall in the same turn from Satori, and you can nullify physical and reflect magic in the same shot, and it's pretty awesome. Obviously this can then work as a sort of alternative for a few turns, and you know, you'll be able to nullify a spell card type attack with this, which is pretty good. Most spells are very obviously physical or magic, so that works out quite nicely. And then for Yomu, we actually have Clearing Mind now, so this will increase resistance to every element except Mystic, which is pretty good. Obviously not physical elements, but we're not counting physical elements here. So yeah, every element except Mystic gets a resistance buff, which is solid, definitely. And yeah, it's a neat extra skill here. Kind of using this instead of Bold Advance, because Azura stand stuff doesn't really lend itself to crits quite as much, especially not without extra damage and everything from them. So this, if I decide to use any 6th skill, would be better. A Meteor Zapper really wasn't doing anything for me. Dragon Fang Strike is good because it hits for Slayer and is a bit more powerful than a regular hit. Meteor Zapper just doesn't do that much damage, and honestly Enlightened Sword is better for the most part anyway. So yeah. Then we get to Satori, who most of the new skills are not being shown here, but one definitely is. So I never showed getting Shadow Flare, but basically the Officer Demon in Genbu, the Genbu Swamp place, stage 16. Yeah, 16, because 17 is the underwater. Yeah, stage 16, the red, blue eyes, white dragon knee Officer Demon thing has a Shadow Flare. It's a really, really powerful single target dart move, and at level 50 and above you can learn that, so definitely pick it up if you can. Usually I would wait until post game to get this, but this move is really strong, so I kind of want it now. For some of the other stuff that we got, let me go ahead and check through. I did get Death Breath. The only enemy that I know of that uses this attack is the Basilisk in is it Basilisk or Elder Basilisk? I think it's Elder Basilisk actually, the one in the Forest of Magic 2 underground. It's the only enemy I know that uses Death Breath, so yeah, you've got to kind of get it from that. And then Holy Breath comes from either Genji again if you get it that way, or since I didn't get it from Genji, I needed to get it from the Dominion, or the giant mech fairy thing at the end of stage 17. And Holy Breath, I don't know if I'll use it, but it's relatively powerful, so yeah, it's worth considering. I just don't think right now that it's too great for Satori, because my physical attack is not very high. But one skill that definitely will be good later on is the Aquila Sword. So we saw this come from the Lizard Soldier in stage 18 and 19, and it's really powerful. It suffers a bit from having the 2-turn cooldown with learning improvements and stuff, and again, I don't have enough into the status trees yet for physical damage up. So right now, it's not too amazing for me, but this move can do a ton of damage, so definitely worth having around. What else did we get? We didn't get anything there, nothing too special that way. We did get a few skill-based stuff here. Innovation is pretty good. I don't really have enough induction to use this at the moment. It's the only reason why I'm not considering it. But cutting both offenses on the enemy is super awesome and will basically help you out a ton. Tornado is pretty good too, inflicting daze on the enemies, and if you already have another character that can inflict daze, such as I or Alice with their growth tree stuff into their specific weapons, then you can get a Slayer against enemies which have already been dazed, which is quite fun. Relatively expensive cost, I guess, compared to the other skill stuff that we have here. It's twice as expensive as Flash of Lightning, just about. Not quite, but almost. So, yeah, kind of expensive, but worth it if you can get the Slayer effect. Also, it is, well, obviously the multi-target stuff is nice, but, yeah, it's kind of cool in this next stage, but I like Mad Thunder too much. If I didn't have Mad Thunder, I'd use this, though. And we got Demon Blast, which is a column-based version of Demon Collider. Collider is a lot more powerful, but Demon Blast is kind of cool. You can get this off a lot of the demon enemies. We still didn't get Demon Shock. I probably should have got that whilst I was here as well. It's a single target version, but I honestly find that Collider is probably the best one that we have access to at the moment. And then we got Time Stop. Time Stop is not too special because I personally find that Mind Blast is a lot better than Time Stop because of the fact that you can use it every turn, and Stop, I don't know, it's a weird status. I don't think there's any way of stopping it from actually affecting stuff, but it's a weird one to categorize. I think it actually does count as a permanent. That was what I was going to say with Tornado. Quick status is not something that Satori can increase her chances of doing, which is why Death Breath and stuff like that are also not amazing unless you have massive induction boosts, and I can't afford to give her that just now because she would die, and I don't want her to die. Also, on the note of stuff, a very cheap attack, this one. Will-O-Wisp is kind of interesting. Curse is a super weak status when used on the enemies compared to when it's used on you, because, you know, the enemies have thousands and thousands of HP and you have hundreds. So even if you do curse them, they're probably only going to take about 10-20 damage back. Okay, a bit more than that maybe, but they're not going to take very much damage back compared to what you have. So, not the greatest of attacks, but it's a fire attack that hits a column, so there are niche uses for it, but I think Flame would be better in all honesty. And Sunburst is still my fire attack of choice because it's powerful, has a couple of menial slayers, and it doesn't have any cooldown. So yeah, Sunburst is the best fire attack in my opinion. So, with that all said, let's go ahead and take a shot at stage 20 here. So stage 20 is gigantic, like probably as big as stage let's see, it's probably even bigger than stage 18 to be honest. Think, I guess, not quite Yokai Mountain standards, but think Bava Argo, there we go, and the Sea of Clouds. Combine stages 13 and 14 and you've probably got roughly the length of this stage. And then there's an extra little bit at the end. So, we never quite went at the top first, but our goal is going to be to get 2 keys so that we can get through those doors, and there are 2 switches beyond those doors which, when both are pressed, will open the green barrier here. So that is our overarching goal here. and it's a bit of a doozy. It will take quite a while to do this, so we're gonna go along the left pathway first. Now, all of the rooms here, of course, and there are quite a few rooms, all of them are absolutely littered with enemies, and they're really hard to dodge, and they're really strong enemies too. Some of them you'll recognize from the previous stage, but we do have a couple of extra ones here. Backfire is the, well, just two of the same thing here, but basically it's a magician class enemy, just like the regular ones, except it's exclusively fire based. That means in addition to being weak to dark, it is also weak to water, so you can take advantage of that, and Patchouli, if you can keep her alive, is amazing in this stage, because there are a lot of elemental weaknesses that she can take advantage of, and yeah, so long as she stays alive, she is always going to be a threat. However, these mages are incredibly powerful actually, so you do have to watch yourself, because characters can die very quickly, but with defense down we should be able to do stuff pretty easily here. And yeah, you can see that Sanai started to get attacked a little bit there. I might need to move Sanai higher up in the order here, because yeah, I need to definitely switch Satori and Yomu around. I put Yomu where she is actually because Pierce attacks would hit the two characters behind Alice, and obviously lance-based users do have Pierce attacks that they can use, and if they do decide to use them, I don't want Patchouli getting hit by them obviously, and I definitely don't want Sanai getting hit by them. But I might have to switch where they are. And yeah, you can see 1600 damage coming off of the Shadow Flare there, with weakness admittedly, but it is very strong. The what's their faces? The Backfire mages do actually drop a very, very useful item that you may wish to pick up. It is an upgrade to... ooh, balls. It's not an upgrade to all balls, but it's an upgrade to the staff weapons that you have encountered so far. So, these assholes, these are probably the most annoying enemies you'll fight in the first, like, sections here, because of their little multiplication trick. So, these guys are resistant to basically every magic except Thunder, which they're pretty damn weak to. They're even resistant to Mystic, so Marissa can't really damage them too well. And they can multiply, and they also have a healing attack called Energy, which heals them with respect to how much HP they have left. So, and it's a wide area heal too, so it will heal a ton of them, and it's really annoying. And they also have 1 million volts, so we saw that from... oh, and a powerful destruction beam too, I forgot about that. So we saw 1 million volts before in the Sea of Clouds from the Thunder Lizard, and essentially what it does is it gives the... it's an induction based attack. It will either do 1 damage or it will do like 95% of your remaining health or something. It's highly irritating. Also annoying is the fact that we got our turn cancelled there, but oh well. Finally, if that wasn't all annoying enough, they have damage net. So there we go. You can't run, and I think you take like 100 damage per turn or something. It's obnoxious. It is incredibly obnoxious. And there's energy coming out, heals for a ton of damage, and I'm not quite sure why we took less damage from that. I know why. Because it's it kind of, yeah, it classes as poison damage. So, well, it's not really poison, but Poison Shield kind of negates like 90% of the poison damage that you would take. So damage net actually gets nerfed hardcore by our formation here, which is pretty fun when you think about it. I really do want to get rid of Backfire first, because that is a very nasty enemy to deal with. So I feel like as soon as I get rid of that thing, I'll be much better off here. Even though these guys are multiplying up, it doesn't matter too much because Patchouli and Core Lightning will just destroy them later on, so it's fine. They are classed as Transcendents, so you can have Slayer effects against them, that's useful. And yeah, just pound away. These fights are going to take quite a while, and we are going to have to heal very often because MP is a massive cost at this point. So it is actually not a terrible idea to just go ahead and clear out, you know, some of the enemies here, and then just go back and heal and clear basically all the enemies out in this stage. It is not a terrible option to do that. We're actually just going to use a spell card here as well. These guys are also weak to stab, so if you're using the Tori, then you can element bullet for lightning and basically just wreck them that way, which is pretty good. So there are quite a few ways around them, but it's building one of those ways into the party. You can see though that they give a lot of experience, and everybody except Satori is still getting bonus experience here. So the minimum level that you are recommended to be for this place is 55, because that's what Satori is at the moment. Also, these little buggers, these actually have something I would like as well, another upgrade to the dagger that I'm still using on Sanai. Do not be fooled by their tiny appearance. These things hurt a lot. They have Shredder as their main form of offense, and they're actually spirits. They're not warriors like you would expect. As a result, they are weak to light, so hit them with light if you can. But yeah, they do so much damage. They have Shredder, they have, I think, instant death attacks as well, but Shredder can hit up to 6 times, so you have to be really careful of that, because it will often spill over behind, you know, to back characters as well. But it's a 1 to 6 times attack, you know, so it could hit 6 times, it could only hit once, so that is definitely something to look out for. So do not be surprised if you see me just blast my spell cards every single fight, because that is basically how this is going to go. We're going to be using our strongest attacks at pretty much every point, and we're going to be healing very often, because that's really the only way I'm going to survive here. And we got a super rare drop over that, and another character material. That is nice. I don't know which one they dropped, but very cool. Oh, even better is Marissa's one. Alright, that is awesome. So just so you know, when you have a gold key, you need to also go through an additional room in order to actually, you know, use it. So I'm not going to go through this room just now, I'm just sort of showing a basic idea here. These panels you see on the floor, they will trigger light bridges, which will disappear after you have crossed them. But because I don't have the gold key at the moment, there's no point in me going any further with that. What's my MP and stuff like? Kinda low, but I have Byakuran as my commander, so we'll get our MP back in a sec. Okay, and then we have Rainbows, who is one of the very few enemies in this game which is weak to Mystic. I think, if I remember rightly, I might be misremembering this here, so we might end up having a bit of a weird situation at the start of this. I think these guys are weak to like every element, but they're just about immune to physical. I don't remember if that's the case, so they might just be resistant. Like there's either it's either that or they're resistant to every element except Mystic, which they are weak to. If that's the case, then I'm kind of stuffed at the moment because I don't have any Mystic attacks on me, but I don't remember which way around it is, so we'll find out with this first attack here. They might also end up counter-attacking if that's the case. Yeah, they're resistant to everything else. Okay, that's ouch. That is very nasty. Okay, so I think I am going to have to Legion here, and we're hopefully going to be able to kill them with our physical attacks, because otherwise I might be in trouble here. I am gonna blitz the Garbongles, so whatever, you know, the other guys as quick as I can though, because leaving them on the field is not a good idea. Oh, they are weak to physical too. Okay, they're weak to physical, so that's kind of cool. Are they weak to Mystic then? I know there are very, very few enemies which are weak to Mystic, but I thought they were one of them, so let me just quickly check that. They are on this page. Yes, they are weak to Mystic. They're resistant to all the magic elements, they're weak to Mystic, weaker to Slash than the other physicals, which is convenient, and I believe I have a Slayer against them too, so that's kind of fun. I guess they are... they are...
like final form of these the spirits that we've been seeing, you know, like the fire, dark, etc. That's transcendent stuff that we've been seeing in various stages earlier on in the game, and finally we have Plasma in the Sea of Clouds. I think, yeah, they're basically just final forms of those, which is kind of cool to see, you know, cool to see a conclusion to everything. Magic is really quite nice in this place because of the element side of things, but you really have to hit for elements, and Damage Net's the main reason why you can't just run from fights which include this thing. Even if you are just trying to run from fights, you will basically have to do any fights with a Garbangle in it, because Damage Net is really fast. Did it burn me? Damn, it must have burned Yomi because she didn't get to use her stance. Yeah, you'll have to run, you won't be able to run from any fights that have him in it because it will just potentially damage it and then you won't be able to do anything, and it really sucks. So, yeah, just suck it and fight them really, because that's all you can do. Poison Shield is an amazing formation here, I will be the first to say that. I actually wasn't sure what, I'm going to Shadow Flow actually, I actually wasn't sure what formation I was even going to run for this stage. Or, you know, who I was going to use. I will say Alice is not entirely necessary, but the stage is such a big jump in enemy difficulty that you will probably want Alice here.
If your party is not super high level. Like I said in the part sort of in introducing this place, this is where the level cap, you know, penalty experience stuff
no longer applies in WoW. This is a very lightning weak round, so actually I need to use butterflies like every round now, basically, so I have to remember that. This is where Thunderstorm is perfect though. I don't know quite why I decided to use Thunderstorm in the end instead of like Royal Flare or something, but hey, it's going to come in handy, so Damage Net again while you're not able to run from these fights. Satori can actually learn Beam Rifle, so maybe I should have let it try and use that. Oh well, whatever. Get right. It can be fun having lightning attacks here. If you don't have lightning attacks though, then these guys are hell on earth to deal with, so do make sure you pack a lot of lightning based moves, or you will be very sad. You can see just how much power we're getting from them here. That's another indicator that we're not particularly high level, because
as your level increases relative to the enemies you're fighting, the power that you get from them drops drastically. So the fact that we are still getting 30 plus power here really does indicate that we are not as high a level as we could be. So yeah. Anyway, we are going to proceed down here and get caught with some Dullahunts, I believe. Yep. So these guys are fire weak, and they also use a lot of instant death attacks. If you weren't at level 30 by the time you fought Komachi and you didn't get Shinigami Scythe from her then, these guys are one of the few enemies that will actually use the move. However, they will only use it when they're alone, so you'll have to keep that in mind. This does not slay the... I don't remember if it's a Slayer against these guys or not. I can never quite remember. I think maybe these count? No, these aren't undead because that's the skull. I can never quite remember exactly what all the symbols stuff are for like transcendent. Transcendence I now know are the GoS, but like spirits, undeads, yokai, that sort of thing, I can never quite remember exactly what they all are. But anyway, they do have a lot of other instant death attacks, so make sure that you do res buff against them. And they have Death Sapphire as well, so yeah. You definitely need to res buff here. Byakuran's ability is incredibly helpful to have. Moko Commander is also really good for this stage because obviously Moko gives you a safety net in case somebody like Sanai dies. But even if you don't have Moko, you can still be relatively good here. There's a lot of good commanders actually, so, you know, Notori's quite good for dodging one attack guaranteed. Problem is, a lot of enemies in this place do multi-target and stuff, or, you know, they do multiple hits and whatnot, so Notori's not quite as good as she is in some other circumstances, just because you will often find yourself getting hit. I think Light is maybe another thing that you can use here. I'm gonna try it just because I can, and then Sana can kill herself here. So we'll see. Yeah, they have a shield as well, I guess. Nothing overly special. Hey, we learned Death Zapper, very nice. It's always scary when the back row gets targeted, and I guess we're not going to find out if they're light weak unless I go and check the records here. Which I guess I could, because why not? This part's already kind of going to be sort of long anyway. They are indeed weak to light, but they are weaker to fire. So, yeah. Also resistant to stab, so Notori will have a difficult time dealing with them. But that is what you have teammates for. So, that fairy actually somehow didn't catch us. I'm not quite sure how that worked, but whatever. Ugh, I do not like this fight. Okay, so two major problems here. Well, first off, I need to use that. The biggest problem is this guy, Python. I actually got completely destroyed in my very brief sort of practice down this route by just two of these guys. It's an Earth-based dragon, and it has a ridiculous sort of firepower to its acid breath stuff. It's really nasty. Second problem, I guess, well, we've got plants over here, the pumpkin guys. I think the second problem for me is that they have Sandstorm, which can cause blindness, so I need to res buff turn 1. And hopefully just not die, that would be the idea. Yeah, Dragon Fang Strike is really good against him. I actually didn't have an option for Dragon Fang Strike when I did this practice-wise, which is why we're using Moko instead of who I was going to use, which was Moko instead of Yomu. And I definitely just said Moko instead of Moko. But yeah, I was actually going to use Yomu, you know, a substitute for Yomu, but as I kind of unfortunately found out, yeah, Moko isn't quite strong enough at the moment for this. Like, her attacks just don't really do quite enough damage, and the Kusanagi is so good that it really pays to have that around. I was also kind of concerned that Alice was going to be a bit too slow here, but, you know, as in not, you know, just not really having the opportunity to have a supporter, because, let's face it, having an entire party slot not dedicated to damage is rough. It's not unmanageable, but it's not the greatest of situations to be in. And yeah, the problem is if I didn't have that slot dedicated for survival, then I would kind of just die like too quickly. So I would be in a much worse position if I didn't have Alice than if I actually did the stuff. The other than the blindness aspect, those pumpkin face things, they'll have some sort of significance that I'm unfortunately culturally unaware of. But yeah, they're nothing too special, so it's okay. Anyway, over here we have some gold, which is quite good. And I'm just about out of light magic and stuff at this point, so I'm probably going to be going back pretty soon. So let's just take this fight, because we do have a new enemy here too. And it's another one we will want rid of as soon as possible, because it is rather scary. By itself it's not overly bad, although it does of course, Phoenixes do of course have fire breath, but it's what it does in the group that's scary, because it can use Raise Dead, which you can obviously guess exactly what that does, so I kind of do want to take it out first. The Unseely Court, the little fairy warrior thing there, can actually instant kill you as well, so do watch for that. Oh my goodness! That shredder though! Just about taking out Patchouli in the one shot there, which is not cool. I'm gonna Legion this turn because I think Alice still has enough health left, and I really need to heal right now, so yeah, I'm just gonna make sure that she has enough health with the Healing Miracle here too. That should keep me at a safe enough spot, and okay, that's down, that's good. Yep, she doesn't take a whole lot of damage from the Fire Breath, which is nice because the Phoenix's HP is really low. Breath attacks are based on the HP of the character that deals with them. So if the HP of your target is low, then it won't do very much damage with its attack. So do keep that in mind. When you're dealing with breath attacks, try and lower the HP of the target as much as possible first. Alright, good. We got it down before it got a chance to do its thing, and from here we can just go ahead and Dragon Crown Strike, and we will win. So, yeah, pretty solid there. And there we go. Alright, so we haven't exactly gotten down to where the key and stuff is yet. These are these floors are rather large, so I think we still have another couple of floors to go through, but my party's MP is not looking too great. So given how long we've been going for and you know all of that, I'm going to call it here for now. And we shall just go ahead, heal up, and come back a stronger set of characters. Although I'm
going to take these skills on because, like I said, I do... You know what, actually, let's show Devil's Recitation here. So, Devil's Recitation halves the HP of the enemies that it works on. It doesn't always work, which is the catch, but if it does, then it halves HP. Sometimes it only does 1 damage, like the really strong foes will only do 1 damage. Stuff like the... I don't know what it's based on. It might be based on magic defense, or like divine barriers and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, I keep getting... That's the other annoying thing with these guys. They can burn you with their main attacks as well, and that burn will stop any character who is using a skill from acting. And it's obnoxious, so I really should res buff against these guys first, because that would make sense. But I keep forgetting to do so because I'm not used to magicians actually doing significant, like, status effects. You know? You
don't normally associate the two, which is why I keep getting myself caught by burns. Anyway, this has been GamerCow playing Touhou, the Genius of Savros, and next time we'll go deeper into the left path and hopefully at least get the gold key, if not, hit the first switch. This place is huge, so who knows, right? Take care.